Okay, so I am thrilled to welcome Haruko to the Sasaga podcast. So let's start off with Haruko. Please tell us a little bit about who you are and how you help women.
So thank you very much for Helen inviting me here. I'm so excited. And hello everyone, I'm Haruko Kawashima and I'm an executive coach and leadership trainer, especially for the global companies and Japanese government. And I support women to upgrading their leadership. So about their mindset or about how to communicate with their team or partners or how to create something new with them. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to talk with you, Helen.
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled that you're here. We worked together a little bit on the Sasaga online retreat. You were one of our fabulous guest speakers. I loved listening to your session then, and so I'm really excited to know what you're going to tell us about today. And I wanted to start off with the question about the word of the year, and it seems like such a long time since it was the beginning of the year, and some changed 2020. If you go back to the beginning of 2020, what was your word of the year?
Yeah, actually, right now, in the coronavirus situation, the word of the year for me right now is the trust and also live with the future right now.
So could you tell us a little bit more about that and what it means for you?
Yeah, because at the beginning of this year, 2020, we didn't expect about coronavirus situation at all, but it suddenly came into our life and everything changed rapidly, so rapidly. And then I decided to have a leadership to create something new with my team or with my partners. And then what is important I learned is the trust, because our world rapidly changing and then so many people feels like anxiety or fears about the rapidly changing. And then I committed to create something new because we need to transform with our world. But when I committed by myself, but my team or my partner was still feeling fears or anxiety. So what was quite important was rebuild trust with my team or partners more deeply. So my word of the year 2020 is definitely the trust. And one more thing, live the future right now. So which means I can see the new vision and I can create something new, and then I can share my idea to my team or partners. But at the same time, they couldn't see the same vision with me at that moment, because people are different way of thinking or different conditions. And then I started to act as I live with the future right now. And and then I started to create the small result that I can show my team or show my partners, make them feel safety or make them feel calm,
right?
And then they can start to work with them or act with me, so my word of the year is trust and live the future right now.
All right, so then for your team members who are maybe feeling uncertainty, to build the trust with them, for you it was about creating small successes towards the future and showing them, so that then they start to have the faith, they start to believe what you're saying. I love that. I want to ask as well, because I think we have a lot in common. Like we like look at the possibility, and not everybody is like that. So what advice do you have for people who are concerned about the current situation and the difficulties around them? What is your advice to, because I know that there are a lot of women in that kind of situation right now. There's, you know, all the struggles related to coronavirus, all the uncertainty, the changes in work, you know, having to be at home, often having kids at home as well. What advice do you have for those women?
One, I have some advices, but one is communicate with yourself. You know, in this situation, we have so many stuffs, something new or struggle with, including me, of course. And I'm always trying to communicate with myself at first. So, yeah, what I am thinking or what I feel like stress or struggle with, and why, or what is my desire about it. You know, before start talking or dialogue with my family or my team or my partner, I start to communicate with myself. And then it is really helpful to reconnect with myself. You know, me and myself. So it's the first step always for me. And if I feel negative emotion or something like that, I don't judge about it. Just be with myself. And then accept myself and then understand myself. Then start dialogue with my friend, family, partner, team.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the Sasuga online retreat, I remember that you spoke about emotions. The emotions are not us. The emotions are something separate. And that was something that many of the participants found really eye-opening and really, really helpful. So I love that, keeping in mind that your emotions are separate. You mentioned just now that you have or had struggles, and it's related to our, you know, confidence topic. If you wouldn't mind sharing with the listeners and those who are watching the video as well, what's something that you have struggled with or you weren't confident about, and then you managed to overcome?
Okay, so I have so many things that I didn't have confidence at first. And recently, I think you already know Helen. So you gave me a brilliant offer to be a guest of the Sasuga online retreat. And that at that moment, it was my very first time to on the webinar. And at the same time, it was my very first time to give them a lecture in English.
Wow, that's so amazing, because no one would know that, because you were so great at being on a webinar and doing it in English. It was, you know, both were fantastic.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for your offer, because it was a brilliant opportunity for me to be out of the box, you know, out of my comfort zone. Yeah, before coronavirus situation, I did, how can I say in English, real lecture, not a webinar.
Okay, yeah,
in person.
Yeah, in person.
Oh yeah, in person lecture, as usual. So I feel excited. How can I, you know, build a relationship between audience in the webinar, or, you know, and also in English. So I use English in my job and the meeting a lot, but not a lecture.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, but I wanted to do it in English in the future, I said.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you gave me the opportunity. And also, do you remember when we first met? I think it was in March or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you share your experience. You doing the lecture in Japanese also.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked you, how did you improve your skills to, doing the lecture in Japanese?
Mm-hmm.
And then you told me, just do it.
Yeah, it really is the way, to get better at anything, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And they say that they say that they're not good at it, like presentations or whatever. Well, how many times have you done it? Who expects to be great at it? Well, actually, work.
And it was very eye-opening moment for me. Yeah, that's quite right. Just do it, My English is not perfect, but I can speak in English. And I have so many knowledge about my professional areas.
Mm-hmm.
Then why I don't do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just do it and just start if I want to be. So then you gave me a great opportunity. Then I said, of course, yes. And then I do it.
So brilliant. I'm going to give you a little secret as well, because my English is also not always perfect.
Really?
So many of my Japanese clients have an obsession about like perfect English, and I have sometimes listened back to myself speaking on podcasts, and I was like, "What did I say there? That's not right." It may be grammatically incorrect or something like that. So it's not about perfection in the English; it's just about communicating and getting the message across.
Yeah, that's exactly I found out after the online retreat. Yeah, before that, why I felt so much fears because my English is not perfect, I thought. But my purpose to give them the lecture or session is not speaking in perfect English. I have a message to them, and then I just give them the message or empower them or encourage them. And I just want to share my knowledge or experience. Something might support them. So perfect English or not is not my matter.
Exactly.
That's I learned from the experience.
Right. So quite often our Sasuga podcast listeners are, a lot of them are working in the corporate world, and a lot of them recently are doing more meetings and presentations through Zoom. And that's something, especially when they're Japanese and they have to do this as a global meeting, they're very nervous about their English or, how they're going to come across and just speaking up online like that. What sort of recommendations do you have for them?
Oh, through Zoom?
Yeah. Up in general.
Mm-hmm. Is that in English or in Japanese or?
Let's say in English.
In English.
Yeah, because then they can maybe apply some of it to Japanese situations too.
Okay, so one big advice is just speak out. Because normally Japanese, especially who are working in large corporation, they are so quiet in the Japanese meeting in Japan in person. It means polite in Japanese way, but global meeting and also via Zoom, we need to speak out what I am thinking, or you need to understand your idea is contribution for others. So just speak out when you have any idea, or if it's not a perfect idea you think, but just speak out.
Yeah.
It means that you contribute to the meeting or to others. So don't be too polite and don't be too shy, and just try to say something you have in your mind.
Mm-hmm. That really struck me what you said just then, because actually being quiet is actually not being polite in a global meeting.
Yeah.
When you're being quiet, then you are not sharing your contribution, and that's actually not a polite thing. So it's a kind of, it's a different way of looking at it. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Another eye-opening moment. So and so you've then developed your confidence by actually going ahead and doing these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about then one of our other favorite topics is productivity. What can you share with our listeners and those watching around productivity? What's your take on
productivity? Okay. So I think I always live with what I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I love flowers, or I love cooking, or I love go out and feel the earth. I have so many things that I love, and I live with what I love, and it makes me energetic. And I don't force me to be productive, or I don't force me to motivate about something.
Right.
No, I do. Just my energy go up, which means I do what I love first. And then I do my work, or I do my job, or I do something very hard for me to do.
Right. So you make sure you've got a good level of energy first, and then you go into the task.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love that. How you feel about something is so important. It makes such a difference to like the whole experience, of course, but also your output, right? When you feel good about going into a task. What about for people who they might say, oh, well, in my work, I have these tasks to do and I just really don't enjoy it, and I just don't want to get it done. What would you say to those women?
Okay. I don't use I have to do this, the word, because we have a choice every single moment. And when I use I have to do it in the word, which means I force myself to do it, which I don't want to do.
Right.
And I tried to use the word I do this, or I will do this at first, or something like that, which means I choose this, the reality. And which is not just playing with the word. It's very powerful, because when we choose something with my will, I have a power here. But if I say I have to do this, I don't want to, but I have to do this or something, my powers go away. So I always tried to choose what I do with my will, even it's hard for me, or even it's very challenging things for me. So one advice is try to choose with your will to do it. Don't force it to you.
I love that. And when you start talking just now about your own power, like your personal power, this is something that makes a lot of sense to me, and it's a topic I've been very interested in for a long time. I first heard about this idea of personal power when I attended my first personal development seminar when I was 19 years old. So I'd love to hear a little bit from you for our listeners who may be not so familiar with the concept of your personal power. Could you tell us a little bit about your interpretation of that, what it means to you?
Oh, about personal power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how women can keep their personal power.
Yeah, we every single person, we have a personal power inside of ourselves. And as I told you before, if we choose, we have to do it or something, or someone forced me to do it, something, we understand.
Yeah.
Our personal power goes to someone or goes to somewhere. But if we choose ourselves to do it by ourselves with our will, our personal power is always here. And then I think our personal power is the source of our energy. So when we have personal power inside of ourselves, we can be energetic always, and then we can have a choice anytime. But if we throw away our personal power to somebody or somewhere, we don't have any choice, because someone has our power, or something has the power, and we don't have any personal power, so that we don't have any choice. Just accept something, or just complain something, or
Yeah, it's becoming the victim situation.
Becoming victims. So when we have personal power inside of ourselves, we can be a leader of the mindset. So that's a quite difference.
When you talk about leader, what does leader mean to you? Because I know that sometimes people will think leader as in it's your title, you are a leader. What is again, there's so many things. It's kind of bizarre because we've not really known each other for very long, but we have so much in common in terms of our you go here with it.
It's amazing.
So what does leader mean to you?
Thank you for the great question. And leader is not about the title. Leader is a way of living or your mindset. And my motto is leadership always starts from within. So not the title at all. And when you have a mindset of leader, you are the leader. And then leadership starts lead yourself and then lead others. So not a title, or not you have a team or someone. No. How you live, or what kind of mindset you have. So leader's mindset and victim's mindset is completely different. Leader's mindset means you accept the fact from the reality, and you are trying to create something better, or something new, or something happier or comfortable for you and the people you love. And then the mindset of victims, they don't have any choice to create something new or something better. They just crying, or they just yelling, or they just complaining, or something like that. They don't have any future, or they don't have any solutions. But leader's mindset, we can create the future, or we can create the solution. That's the difference. So leader is not about the title. That's the way of living, or way of thinking, or the mindset.
So I'd love it if you could share some examples from your past, or also I know we were talking earlier about just before we started recording, you were saying that at the beginning of the whole coronavirus situation, you were having some difficulties, some challenges. Some situation, if you could share with our Sasuga podcast listeners about a difficulty that you have faced, and maybe you've shown your own leadership to yourself to overcome that. Could you share something with us?
Yeah, sure. So at the very beginning of coronavirus situation, and all of my lectures was canceled. in person. And actually, my schedule was food before coronavirus, but suddenly it's gone. And I have my own company and I have my team also. So I had to do something. But at the very beginning of that coronavirus situation, I didn't have any online products, or I didn't have any experience of webinar, as you know. So I need to very quick to transform myself and also transform my company and transform our business. And also I need to very, very quickly to create the system of online marketing or something like that at the same time. And at first, I just have a huge shock. Oh my goodness, everything was gone, you know? And then I know I have to do, but I don't know how to do it at the very beginning. And then I start to searching the information, and I start to asking my friend who already have online marketing system or online products or something like that. And then, but actually at that moment I was so upset. I was so upset, and I talk with my team, but my energy, they feel my energy. I am upset. So it didn't go as well, because they also feel fears or anxiety. So, and I start at first. I need information and I need to learn what I need to do and how. Then I need to calm down before I talk with my team or partners.
Right.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what you were saying earlier about communicate with yourself first and communicate with others, definitely.
Yeah. And one more thing I can share with you, and the second step, I became calm down, and I have information on what to do, and I talk with my team, and we became one team again. Then I create the whole marketing system and the concept of online conference or something, and I start to dialogue with my partners outside of my companies. We have some professionals, and I committed. I'm showing my leadership to my team as well as to my partners, and then let's move to the next level together. Where's my message? And I create a whole system, and then you can join us. That was my message, but it didn't work.
Oh. Really?
Again. Isn't it funny?
What happened?
Actually, at that moment with our partners, I was too fast. I was too fast because
I can identify with that. Sometimes I move too fast.
Because I gather so many information all over the world, and then create the whole business model. And then I did research about the marketing or something, and I create the whole concept, and then you can just join us. Don't fear about fears. But they didn't understand at all because they didn't have any information about the new style of the business. And second huge shock I got.
So how did you overcome that one?
Yeah, actually, I cried a lot.
Uh-huh.
I was shocked too much. But I decided to postpone that idea. And then I decided to wait.
Yeah.
I gave them time because, yeah, the situation is different. Each one of my partner, and then they have a right to refuse or join.
Mm-hmm.
But I love them so much, and I was thinking about them so much, and I didn't expect they didn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my love was too much at that time. So I decided to give them the enough time.
Right.
And then I decided to not to do it now.
Okay.
Then we have a very good relationship right now. But at that moment, I was cried a lot.
That is so great. So, yeah, I'm thinking of lessons for our listeners is especially when you're in the position, like quite a lot of our listeners are managers or they have people reporting to them, and in that situation you've really got to put yourself in the other person's shoes, right? And even if you're all enthusiastic and ready to go, you've got to understand that they might not be ready, or they might need more information or a bit more reassurance first. Yeah,
Exactly.
thank you for sharing that experience. So as we get into wrapping up for this episode, but you've already shared so much inspiration for our Sasuga podcast listeners. What else would you like to share with us today?
Oh yeah, I have something new, and I create online global community. It's called GBLF, Global Business and Life Fulfillment, and for women. And then we started it at first 20 women, and then most of them coming from Japan, Hokkaido to Fukuoka, and one woman from United States. And it is so great because if we do it in person, they cannot gather in Tokyo every month. But if it's do it in online, we can beyond our distance. And we can share our ideas. Last week, we did an online discussion via Zoom with our members, and they talk about how to live with post-coronavirus situation. And then they talk about business, or they talk about their emotions, or they talk about the communication way of communication, and they talk about relationship or something. And we who working with global environment, we have so many ideas, or we have so many things, and they just connect with the community, and then they just can discuss about what they want to discuss about. And I could see the chemistry of them, and that is so incredible. So
that's wonderful. I love that. And I've been part of online communities for several years already, so it's wonderful for me to see now that more people are becoming comfortable with doing things online. And as you say, it's so great that you can actually interact with people who normally you wouldn't even be able to. So that's wonderful. So we will put in the show notes a link to the Global Business and Life Fulfillment group. Is that okay? And people can learn more about it?
Oh yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Anything you want to share with us today, Haruko?
Oh, yeah. One more thing. At the Sasuga online retreat, I have a session about emotional designing skills to uplift your daily life. And then I did in English. And then after that, so many of my friends wants to do it in Japanese. And then I decided to share it in Japanese. And it also works very beautifully. We have already 130, more than 130 people in the emotional designing group. I created the Facebook group for the people who wants to learn about it. And yeah, it's also great. So at the beginning of May, I think in Japan, most of the people feel the stress or anxiety about the coronavirus situation. And now economy start again, and many business leaders want to lead their team, or they need to create something new in their business field. So I found out that people has different needs right now, and then also I can support them with my knowledge or experience, and it's really great because I have a passion to empower the leaders, especially innovative leaders, to create something new in this dramatic changing age. So I can do it in that group right now. So it makes me so happy. And also, yeah, leaders can meet each other in the group. That also great. So yeah, these are two big topics right now for me.
Link to both of those in the show notes so that listeners can learn more and
thank you
with you as well. So thank you so much, Haruko, for taking your time to share your wisdom and your inspiration with the Sasuga podcast listeners. It's been absolutely wonderful. It's such a pleasure for me. I look forward to when we can actually meet in person more often. But for now, we can keep meeting online. This is great. So thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Helen.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.